but in this evening, I'm serving in capacity as chair of our public safety committee. We just had the committee members introduce themselves very quickly.
Shania Hartley, community board member.
Lorianna Boothby, community board member.
Mark Lavana, resident member.
E. Cohen, community CB9 member.
Zach Dutchkin, community member.
Okay, and with that, I hear a quorum of the committee members are here, so we will be able to commence with the agenda. Okay, so item number 3 now will be the rules of order. We're going to be waiving the rules of order for this evening. They are available on the Brooklyn Community Board 9 website for anyone who's interested. So we have a representative for FDNY for this evening. Okay, seeing none, at this time we'll move on to the next item, and if we do get a representative, we'll let them speak at that time. All right, so very quickly, moving along, we are now up to item 5, NYPD. We have Sergeant Hudson.
Yes.
71st Precinct?
Yes.
All right, please, if you come to the front, you can just,
Good.
you know what, I'll tell you what, if you can go by the banner right there, because you'll be on camera.
Good evening, everyone. Sergeant David Hudson. I am the neighborhood coordinating sergeant in the 71st Precinct. I thought we have more people out, so I brought flyers and stuff for some crime prevention tips and holiday tips. However,
We usually do have more people, maybe just like it's a December holiday times, people are kind of busy, but we usually have more people of an interest.
Your trains are still messed up in both directions.
Okay. So for the ones that's here, I mean, I haven't met anyone here. I just see y'all at the meetings, but I never really formally introduced myself. So I'll just use that time to introduce myself. That's good?
That's
Sounds
fine.
All right, good. So like I said, my name is Sergeant David Hudson. I've been with the NYPD for 14 long years, all right? I started out in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, the 79th Precinct. That's where I did like my field training. Then I was in Far Rockaway, and then from Far Rockaway in 101 Precinct. And then from there I went to Community Affairs Bureau, where you can see like I like to talk, right? From there I got promoted to sergeant, and then now I'm here in the 71st Precinct. I've been in the 71st Precinct for about 2 years now, and about a year ago I became the neighborhood coordinating sergeant, all right? Born and raised in New York City. I grew up in East New York, Brooklyn, 75th Precinct. I still live in the city, and I don't plan on leaving the city. So meetings like this is really dear to me, all right? I'm not one of the cops that joined the job and then moved to Long Island, Suffolk County, or no, I still live in the city and I don't plan on going anywhere, right? I love the city. That's pretty much it. I went to junior high school, elementary, all my education is in the city, even in college. Graduated from York College over there in Queens, and I went to Queensborough Community College as well, and I'm on my way going to John Jay College next. So that's just about me. I'm excited to be here, to listen in. I'm really excited to get more in tune with what's going on in the community. Hearing that this gentleman here is applicant, like this stuff is new to me. So that's the interesting part where, you know, I get to learn this field. So when I'm out there, you know, I know both sides. I know exactly how everything takes place. That's pretty much all I have. I do have some safety tip flyers that I can just leave. So if people come in, you know, I mean, I'm here for the night, but in case, you know, I'll leave the flyers behind. Any questions, comments, concerns?
All right, we'll go around committee and then we'll open it up if anybody can. Ms. Mosher, do you have any questions?
Do you have any leads on the guy who knifed someone on last Monday?
This past Monday on President Street.
So that would be
Big
the-
pictures of him and everything like that, any leads?
So we do have pictures. We do have pictures at the moment. Again, the 71st Precinct Detective Squad is handling that.
Right.
So, but we definitely have pictures, and you know, we have an idea of who we're looking for.
Okay.
All right, let's go on.
Yeah, this time of the year, is there more of a presence, like, around community neighborhoods, shops and things like that, where there's more hustle and bustle, I mean, people are carrying around sometimes more money and they're like a little bit overwhelmed, and so they're not so careful, and there seems to be maybe more theft or things like that. Is there more of a presence around, like, just helping the neighborhood and making people feel safe that they can go shopping and things like that?
Absolutely, especially like the shopping corridors, the Nostrand Avenue,
Right.
the Flatbush Avenue. Absolutely.
Fulton Street.
Yep, we have our field training officers out there. We also have just the regular patrol officers that's just patrolling. So absolutely. And that was actually one of the holiday tips, right? Not to carry all of your money in one pocket or carry your money inside of a purse, and don't strap the purse around you, so if someone tries to steal your purse, they're not stealing you with it, you know. So
I'm the opposite. I'm always putting it around me because I feel like it's safer.
no, so
You take my pocketbook, you take me, and I don't know. I'm
yeah,
not
but a
going
lot of times
easily.
what we'll get, because when these guys are snatching and running, they're running full force, and next thing you know, you're dragged along the floor.
Oh, I see.
You know, you might save the pocketbook, but at what cost? You know, so if you just maybe keep some money in your pocket, some in your pocketbook, just different places where they won't really know where to target. Also with deliveries, right? Where a lot of us, Amazon, Walmart, wherever we shop, try to have your packages delivered at a time you'll be home. Try to have your packages delivered to a neighbor. Then I know a lot of UPS, they have Amazon lockers, places where it's secure and it can be picked up at a later time, or just pick it up from the actual warehouse if that's available. So that's another thing. A lot of package theft around this time of year.
Right.
And that's pretty much it as far as that. But yeah, the officers are 100% patrolling out there.
Okay.
Ms. Butler?
Questions?
Ms. Wilson?
No question. No question.
I think you covered everything.
Thank you.
Just one quick one, actually. Well, two quick hits. One, do you perhaps at another time, because I know a lot of the buildings have had questions about that, exactly with the porch pirate thing.
Mm-hmm, correct.
Because it's big around the holidays, but it's
Yeah.
something that's constant year round.
Year round.
I mean, if there's any things, I think some of the buildings are wondering, is there anything they can do? Cages help, or if there are secure areas? or what
So
the recommendations are.
that's a good question. Cages does help for a fact, but a lot of times we're seeing a building, they would set up an area with a cage. People put their packages. Lo and behold, the people that's still in the packages are your neighbors. So they would have the key to the package,
wow.
and but then they're getting caught on camera. So a lot of times you're like, apartment 1A is now pressing charges against apartment 1B. You know what I mean? So that's what we get. But cages 100% work for outsiders. But it definitely it would lower the numbers of how many packages you would have missing, because whoever's in that building that's still in the packages, once he get caught, he's like, all right, this might not be a great idea. But yeah, cages 100% work. Where maybe just the tenants that have the keys, you go in, retrieve your own package, and a lot of times I'm seeing the slit where they be able to just drop the box into a slide and then go straight in.
All right, and I think the last one is, and this is more for as we go forward as well, I think the committee might be very interested in terms of hearing what the data sounds like for the district, for the 71st.
Okay.
In terms of what's going up, what's coming down.
Okay, I do have that.
Oh,
All right. So I'm not gonna present it as good as my executive officer would, right? But just for, I'll do week to date and then year. What you want, week to date, or you want year to date? 28. How you want it?
what's happening for the committee?
I would like week to date because we had a little bit of a background from somebody else came to us, but we'd really like to know.
Okay. So for week to date, and this is through December 2nd to December 8th. All right. As far as murders, we're even, no murders. All right. Compared to last year, 0 and 0. Rapes, no rapes. Compared to last year, 0 and 0. Robberies for 2024, we have 5 compared to 4 in 2023. Okay. Felonious assaults for 2024, we up by 1. It's 8 to 7, which was in 2023. Burglaries, it's 1 and 1. It breaks even. So we have 1 burglary week to date compared to the same time last year. And as far as grand larceny autos, it's 0 and 0. So it equals itself out pretty much. No grand larcenies.
So even in the last week, we've gone up in several things from last year. We don't even have to go to the whole year. We can go to just 1 week from this year to last year. We're
Yeah,
not-
so 1 robbery and 1 more assault than last year. So that's pretty much where we at.
I just don't like when they.
But we're still
When
overall.
you guys come and say, "Oh, the crime is down," and then I'm like, "Okay, give me a week," and then we just picked a week, and then we
Well,
have 2 things going up.
We're picking 1 week out of 52 weeks out of the whole year, but overall we're still down 14 to 19 of the 7 major felony crimes. So this year we only have 14 compared to last year, 2023, it was 19.
19.
So that's why they'll tell you that crime is
Okay.
overall down. But as we all know, one victim is one victim too many,
Right.
right?
That's true.
And we only have 2 more weeks out of the year.
And we only have, overall, the 71st precinct, compared to last year, the crime is down, overall. I think we're leading like number 1 in the city at this point. So Crown Heights really have seen a change this year,
So funny,
from
it
last
doesn't
year.
feel like that, right? Doesn't it feel like
Well,
people
what
are
about
always
hate
getting,
crimes?
yeah, hate crimes, like, I feel like it went up a lot, the hate crimes.
I don't have those numbers
Yeah,
here.
and last time they also didn't have the data, like, where do we get data for the hate crimes? Cause it really feels like it went
No,
up.
it's available. So, you know, I don't know who you spoke to last time, but it's definitely available.
We had
And can
somebody
get that.
come our last meeting,
Mhm. You remember who?
Who the
be in the
officer
minutes.
was?
Yeah,
It was a woman officer, she
Young
was,
lady,
pretty
she
young.
had an auxiliary, she was in an auxiliary car.
What color?
Really young.
What color uniform she
It
had?
was bluish, it was the light.
The light blue community affairs?
Yes.
Was it Officer Brady?
Yeah,
possible.
Apologies.
No.
Yeah, sorry, we,
I mean, I'll reach out to see, and I'll try to find.
Yeah, if we could, you know, especially in this
If we
position,
were
if we can
reported
get
last
that.
time, it could be pulled off of the last month's YouTube.
Okay. Well, but I mean, it's just helpful for us to have, and I think, you know, thank you
Yeah.
for that data.
Mhm.
And maybe that's something we'll talk about at the office, if we can even get that, we can give that to the committee, so they have that as part of the meeting package, so if there's specific questions you have. But I think the hate crime data is something we might have.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one thing that she did call out in regards to hate crime is that initially, when the arrest is made, it was thought of
Right.
as a hate crime. When it comes into fruition and when it's brought upon the actual DA, usually, once
Yeah.
it's,
Correct. They would bump it up to a hate crime. So the initial investigation might just be an assault, right? And then once more of the facts are published, then it becomes a hate crime, and the district attorney office would actually prosecute on that level.
Okay.
or vice versa, where it's initially thought of as a hate crime and then it comes down to
Correct.
an assault.
Correct. And all the numbers that I just provided, it's on the website. It's on the NYPD.gov, the 71st precinct. You can pull up any day of the week, and it will give you the most up-to-date numbers. So, all right. Questions?
I'm sorry, open it. Did anybody have any questions for?
No.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you guys for your
So
time.
much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
More than welcome to stay, but.
Yep, I'm here for a little bit.
Okay, all right, okay, so now completed that, we're gonna go to item 6 on the agenda. Criteria for SLA applications. And I just wanted to, because I know I've heard a couple of conversations, and this is something we've talked about, as a board for a while. Just in terms of the criteria for SLAs. Last year, we did a little bit of work in terms of, for the cannabis applications, in terms of trying to streamline that application, to make sure we had the information in front of us that we needed to have. So we wanted to do something similar with SLAs, to make sure we kind of update those, to make sure that, you know, hopefully we're gonna streamline the package, so that way the information we need as a committee and as a board, it's upfront and we have that. But also we wanted to make sure that we were consistent in terms of, what we're requiring from applicants. If we can put that information, if we're, you know, if it's something that the board can approve, applicants have a sense of what we're looking for before they walk in the door. So as opposed to having something that, okay, is automatically gonna be contentious, or we're gonna have problems with, they know that in advance, and we don't have to have conversations about stipulating this or stipulating that.
Right.
It's already set.
Right.
Where it's like, they understand, you know, so it's going to be not something necessarily we have to do tonight, but I would like for us to start thinking about, okay, well, listen, what circumstances might warrant certain conditions? To the point where we're talking about, if you're in a residential area, depending on where you are, it might call for something that we say, listen, you know, there's a certain time you need to cut off, that might be a little bit earlier than what's mandated or the law says you can do. But if there are any exceptions to that, so if you're on a main corridor, if you're on a strip or something like that, maybe that's a little bit something different. But those are the conversations we can have, and perhaps over the next couple of months, we can set up some guidelines in terms of what do we want this to look like, so that way it's consistent across the board, and we set our expectations for all applicants. So that, I just wanted to have that there, just to introduce that. Any initial thoughts or any initial things that we want to set for next month? Questions?
I know that Carolyn Weeks from the Borough President's Office sent over to us a couple of actual trainings to participate in. It's just that, one, the timeframe that they send it is not always the most convenient. I'm searching for the best terms to use. And then also, they often come where it's only maybe 4 to 5 days in advance to even actually do it. But one of them was the understanding the SLA and understanding our state liquor authority. It would be great if also possible we could get someone from SLA here. And in regards to what you recommend for that, do you mean like just building out a wireframe and we all sort of throw in things, or are we pulling what the actual laws are? What's the recommendation as to how we will sort of frame this out?
And I'm happy you said that part of it, and part of what I'm gonna work with the office to do is to actually let's get the laws in front of us as well. Because I wanna make sure that we're all clear about that, because again, I think that, when applicants come, they usually, I'm giving them the credit where it's like they're trying to be within the law. So they're not gonna say, well, we're gonna open it so, 24 hours of booze, because obviously that's not what it is. But,
That's also just not possible in a state that still technically has blue laws.
well, yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying, so I mean, I think that what they're putting on there is usually typically within the bounds of whatever the laws are. But I think that, communities are different. So I mean, you may be able to go to 4 AM and you're fully good and you're not disturbing anyone in another section of the city. But it's probably gonna be something problematic if you're going to 4 AM, 3-4 days a week in this district. And not to front run the conversation, but those are the things we should know. What are the laws? And then we can have, that conversation about what works best for CB9. So, but definitely let me do that. I'll see if we can find out some of the relevant
And that may
statutes.
possibly be a separate meeting from this, where it's maybe a Zoom that we would.
It could be, yeah, it might be a training, we'll see if we can do something separate. I usually try and avoid adding to your calendars, I know
Yeah,
everybody's busy here
right,
too,
on
so.
top of meetings, but.
Yeah, so I mean, even if it's a dedicated meeting where it's like, listen, half an hour or so or something like that, is
Right.
dedicated just to that,
Right,
that's fine.
yeah,
But I
would-
think we'll,
I
Very up for that, yeah.
yeah, I would be okay that it be during this meet, like, give us a certain amount of time for them to
Yeah.
come and do that for us,
okay.
as opposed to another meeting.
Yeah, but here's the only thing, if we have it here while we still have additional parties here, is it, I would think that that would be something that we would have just as the committee, or is it then something that would be, because obviously this is open to public,
Right.
so.
Well, can we have this start, let's say one time at 7:30 instead of 7, and then from 7 to 7:30 us having the meeting just for this,
We, we could, alternative, we can just spend, have the business items up front, and, we'll depend on what the schedule looks like for the month.
Right.
Do that in front, we can listen to the applicants, we can do that voting period, and then the second part of that is to get that information, so that we can do that. But, so let me do that, so I'm back, let me check in with the office staff, let's see what we can compile. We can share that out, and then we can see what the next steps are in terms of if we wanna have a more in-depth discussion, if we can bring more expertise in there, like if we can get SLA in here and see what they can do as well.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right then. And absolutely, if you think of anything otherwise in terms of there's certain questions you have, please feel free to reach out to me in the office and just say, listen, we wanted to kind of look and understand more about whatever it is.
Can we ask the SLA also, like, if they have any case studies in regards to like case usage, exceptions, et cetera?
I think that's the reason why we wanna bring them in, cause I think the questions will develop themselves as when we get them in front, and
Right.
especially when they talk through that
Organic.
process. So I think that's just helpful, they're there, we can ask them questions, and it'll help us think of even more questions we're probably never thinking of. Okay? All right, thank you very much for that. Okay, so we are now going to move on to item 7, the application reviews. All right, so, item A is, for 887 Nost LLC, located at 885-887 Nostrand Avenue, cross streets Carroll and Crown. This is for a new liquor, wine, beer, and cider license. Do we have a representative for 887 Nost? Okay, please.
Hi, good night. My name is Curtis Marshall. I am the representative for 887 Nost, DBA Vilvain Bistro. You're located, as you said, at 887 Nostrand Avenue. We are a high-end Caribbean restaurant, focusing on ingredients, not just plates, but a tasting menu. We are bi-level as well. I'm here to represent the 3 owners, Ms. Terry Street, Mr. Max Glazer, and Mr. Gregory Lee. Between the 3 of them, they have over 20 years of experience in hospitality. I myself, I have my own event planning company that I've run for the last 18 years. We are asking for a 4 a.m. license, but our operating hours will be usually between the hours of 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. weekdays and 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. weekends. We are asking for 4 a.m. because we do have some corporate clients like Nike and Google that we've built relationships with over the years that have attended not only our events but have used our spaces for corporate dinners and even some weddings. So we are asking for the flexibility to have a 4 a.m. license. I was here about a month ago in front of the same board. I was asked to get 100 more signatures than the 60 originally that was requested. These are the signatures, 2 blocks up, 2 blocks down, 1 block left, 1 block right of our location. I don't think there's anything else new that I said that I didn't say before. Sorry, I know you weren't here last time. Like I said, we will be a Caribbean restaurant focusing on food and the cuisine in itself. We will be having guest chefs coming in from different countries as well, and guest mixologists. We are going to have a sound downstairs in the bi-level space, but again, this is not, we don't plan for this to be a music establishment. DJs will usually be a couple of days a week, if so much, and the downstairs has already been soundproof prior to when we were there, and we've added additional soundproof.
All right, at this time, we'll allow for the committee members to ask questions. Since we start here. Oh, you want to start?
Whatever.
Go ahead, Ms. Marshall.
I just have the same comments like I had last time. It's that the restaurant before was only open till 11. So there weren't any complaints about that. And, there's PS 161, and Beth Rivka School is
Maybe
on the
200
block.
feet.
There's
Not sure.
Medgar Evers High School's across the street, and there's a storefront church on the block. I don't know.
Well, church at the block is a multi-use building, and the previous establishment had a license until 4 a.m. as well. Again, we are not asking, we're not saying that we're going to go until 4 a.m. every night. We're just saying that we need flexibility, or we like the flexibility because we have corporate clients and we've done weddings and bridal parties, etc., that have gone past 2 o'clock in previous establishments. So it will not be an everyday experience.
Ms. Cohen.
I pretty much have the same concerns that I had before. I know we did ask you if you could reach out to schools, since there's a 7 a.m. opening daily, and all these schools are open daily.
I reached out to the
Yeah.
schools.
Schools.
When are you going to be open for coffee and tea and again biscuits?
So if I walk into your establishment and I want a mojito, you're gonna tell me no?
No, we're not going to serve alcohol before 2 o'clock.
Well, that also has to be noted down here. Also, I am apprehensive of people that say they're putting in for 4 a.m., but they'll only do to 2 a.m. I love weddings, I go to weddings all the time. I don't know a lot of weddings that go till 4 a.m. But if they do, it's a little bit of a small space for like a really large wedding. I actually have been in that restaurant before, so I'm not sure what it would mean to have a wedding there and then it should go on till 4 a.m. I'm just not comfortable with the, I'm really not comfortable with the hours.
Any type of entertainment that we have will be downstairs, which is why downstairs, the previous owners soundproofed downstairs.
Yeah, it's very quiet.
before.
You can't hear anything.
So we're just adding to it. Upstairs is just dining in itself. So there wouldn't be any type of entertainment. The only speakers that we're going to have upstairs are small bullet speakers that are just for ambient noise, background noise.
What's the square footage downstairs?
Both spaces, 1,300 square feet, upstairs and downstairs.
So it's about 700, no, it's about
It,
770.
it downstairs could hold just about 40 people.
40?
40 people.
Very small, it's very small, I remember that.
Yeah, and I said 40 people seated, comfortable.
Right, so where's the dance space?
You done, Ms. Cole?
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Butler?
I don't have any more questions than what's already been said.
Ms. Wilson?
I don't have any questions.
So mine isn't a question, I think I'm just reiterating it, that I also wasn't comfortable with the 4 a.m. time. And partially what I stated is that what we're dealing with is the Nostra Levy mixed use. The cross streets aren't, and it becomes more residential, so that was one aspect. And I also called out spillage, parking, cigarette smoke, ambient noise. And then also the aspect of the depending upon whether it's Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, or Sunday, you're dealing with the Sabbath for whether it be Islamic, Jewish, or Christian. And so those are those things that came to mind in regards to quality of life. And so the 4 a.m. aspect, just in regards to this area and within this neighborhood, with both the schools, again, high levels of residential, it doesn't sit well with me in regards to 4 a.m.
Okay. All right, so my question, well, I guess my questions are not so much for the applicant, I guess for the I think the sense that I've had is that usually we're around the 2 a.m. Now, because this is on
Our
Thursday,
initial call out last
Right.
month was for 2 a.m.
was for 2 a.m.
Right.
Okay.
It was 2 a.m.
On the weekends? Did we say on the weekends?
Cor-
2 a.m.?
Correct.
And I don't know during the day.
It was 2 a.m. It was to thank you in regards to the petition.
Yeah.
And then it was also to work alongside those schools and to have, for notification from those schools.
I've reached out to Medgar College as well already. I have a meeting planned with somebody from the teachers union as well. I actually know a couple teachers there as well. I will get letters of endorsements if needed.
So here was the thing, I think that we had asked to have those when you came back here. Because when we do this process, it is to have the entire package delivered to us so that we can review at that time. Because what we do here is we either do yay or nay, or we'll then say, come back and have that back. So it's better to have a completion of the package of what we requested rather than, well, you'll give it to us, then you'll give it to us. If here's the thing, if we move forward with whatever we move forward with, you don't have to give us those letters. But when it comes up time for renewal, that's a different question, because then we'll have to, of course, look at the history and all of those other things. So it is better to come to us
Well,
with
the one thing I
a
would say is
package.
this, if it's a stipulation, I think that basically our any approval we do, if it's as a committee or as a board, is conditional on the satisfaction of those stipulations.
Who goes to check then?
Listen, whoever calls in the report, whoever says, okay, well, listen, they are not doing that, we stipulated 2 a.m. Here's a picture of them at 3 o'clock, they're still rocking over, they're still rocking around.
How long
real
do they
hard.
get this SLA before they have to be applied?
2
They-
years.
So for 2 years, they're not stipulating, and then we wait.
And that's to
like
say
you're saying.
hypothetical. We hope that-
Hypothetical,
we
we're
hope
not
that
saying,
everyone
we're not saying,
complies.
that's why I think we need to have this meeting, so that because I believe everyone until otherwise. But it's best when it's all in front of us and black and white, and so we can point to the black and white and say, this is what we agreed on, and not misunderstandings, or we didn't think you meant that, or, you know what I'm saying?
Right. No, and that's the reason why I wanna make sure that whatever the recommendation, if this is an amended recommendation, it's clear that, okay, if, alcohol, we're approving an application based on the time of whatever the committee's gonna decide at this point. And if
Because
there
there's
are other.
also a DJ, right? And we
Right.
weren't clear on the days that you thought, it's ambient music, and then it's also the possibility
Live
of a DJ,
music.
of a
Right.
DJ.
And part of the thing is too, is remember, part of our process is typically that, we do ask for reports from 311 and NYPD and say health and safety reports as well. So,
But that's after opening,
It is,
right?
it is,
And
right.
so, here's the thing, I may not live specifically on these blocks, but I am part of the community. And so what we've just been reiterating is that for this area, a possibility of 4 AM would reflect poorly in regards to the quality of life of the individuals within close proximity. And so that's just all I'm just trying to definitely
Right.
get across.
And we're concerned about the schools being right there also, you know, we're worried about cannabis being next to schools, but what stops a high schooler giving an ID and walking in there to, you know, school?
Well, that's a hypothetical that can take place across all of the restaurants that are up and down Nostrand Avenue. So if you come in with a
But are
fake
they
ID
so
and
close,
then-
are they across the street from three schools?
I mean, kids walk around.
If
Listen,
a kid wants
I
to go
grew up
get
in, I grew up in Brooklyn. I went to high school in Brooklyn. If I wanted to use a fake ID in a restaurant, which I never did.
Yeah, we have like.
I didn't use a fake ID. I was just my mother. You know, it could take place, but here's the thing, we know now how good of an ID that you must have. We also know that, you know, the stakeholders in those locations should be valid and be able to look at an ID in the correct way.
Right.
And this is also New York City. Kids get on trains and they move around and they go places and they do things no matter what. There's a sophistication amongst a New York City teenager that the rest of the country just doesn't have. So if they were going to go and attempt to do that, they would attempt to do it whether it be at his location, or whether it be at Bijou, or whether it be at Junior's. It's a possibility, it can happen. It's not to say that it wouldn't happen in regards to the proximity of the schools. The prior location had a liquor license. So that's really sits on, the prior location had a liquor license. So it could have taken place at the prior location.
3 iterations before having liquor licenses to 4 AM.
Right.
And to your point, the technology.
4
for-
AM, till 4 AM?
Till 4, yeah.
Yeah, they were closed at.
It was close at 11.
Yeah, but before that, they still have it till 4. I just
Oh,
saying
you're
that
saying
one
the
of them-
one before that?
And the one before that as well, they all had till
Well,
4 AM. But
we
the
weren't on the
technology,
board then.
the technology has gotten a lot better. The officer here would say like having a fake ID is getting a lot harder to
It's
to
hard.
run with to run through the fake ID is a lot harder now with the electronic scanners that they have. We do have put it forward, we do have a security package in place for when it is, we need it as well to regulate traffic and everything else and make sure everybody who's coming in is of age. And just to back up a bit, in terms of what was asked when last I was here, the only thing that was really asked for was the additional signatures. It was mentioned, probably, you know, we could look at getting some stuff on meeting the teachers or the college or the principals in those schools. But what was actually asked for was the additional signatures, 100, so which is exactly what it is with us.
Is there gonna be security outside from like, till like 4 AM, or like what's that sort?
So actually, hold on, just to hold you on that, because here's the notes. So it was consensus on the bullet, so the board recommended that the applicant compile a petition of support at minimum. I have it here, it's 200 signatures within the vicinity of 1 block east, 1 block west, et cetera.
Sorry, you said 100. You said originally 400, and then you said 150, and then you said no, just get 100.
It doesn't matter, that's fine, I don't know how
Okay,
many you got.
and then we
I
have
don't
board
think- I
also
don't think we have to
recommends
give a
letter of
specific
recommendations
amount.
for Mega Evans PS 161 and the additional institutions within the vicinity.
When you say additional institutions, what?
That was also the girls' school.
Yeah, Beth Everett School,
Yeah.
there's a high school across the street there, there's a public school, the Jewish high school, and then it's Medgar Evers High School.
It's high school.
High school, not college,
Right.
And PS 161.
yeah.
Okay, hold on, so let me understand, so I would be more concerned if they were, because the SLA application is pretty clear in terms of how close you can be to these institutions before they say, no, you can't do it. Because you can't be next to schools, you can't be next to churches, you know, houses of worship, you can't be next to certain things. As they're zoned, it sounds like they're in that sweet spot where they are just really outside of those distances where those zones of influence, if you say that. So I personally have my own questions about, do we require them to go outside of that? Because if it was something inside that, okay, yeah, but if they're outside of that, the statute already says, just don't be that close.
Right.
So I think if they're already zoned okay, I think they're all right in that respect. The only thing I would expect them to do, keep it clean, make sure you're checking IDs, and it's like, you know, I know he has stubble on his face, but yeah, we need to see an ID or two forms. I just wanna be careful about punishing
I
business
think it was
potentially
more
for.
of because of the business hours
Mhm.
and that aligning that schools were open at the same time. So I think that if you had an establishment where it was 5 p.m. to 4 a.m., you know, sort of a typical dinner hours. But I think that the aspect of it being open for a longer period of time,
7 a.m.
that then came about. And it's actually, so within also just not only the 7 a.m., but knowing also after 12 noon, when it rolls into actual, serving alcohol times.
No,
So I
we
think
said
that that's where the sort of.
we wouldn't be serving until 2 o'clock. One of the reasons why we chose this location and we said 7 a.m. is because of Medgar Evers College. Like I told you before, I went to Morris Brown College in Atlanta. I went to HBCU, and I knew the role that small businesses played in making sure I just got through my 4 years. And it's our way of giving back to not only the college but to teachers as well, to the hours they put in. So pastries, tea, coffees, heavily discounted for them. And even further past that, we're actually working on doing a scholarship for some students as well. So it's just our way of giving back. So, which is one of the appeals to this area that we wanted. I mean, when I first moved to New York, I lived not too far from here either. So I used to walk around here as well. So it's like a homecoming for me. So even though I said we will be open at 7, again, it's not serving alcohol at 7. It's just teas and coffee.
So let me ask you something, if you have a wedding on a Sunday night, it finishes at 4 a.m. and then that Monday morning you're opening at 7, you have 3 hours to clean up after the wedding, which means it was open 24 hours, the restaurant?
No, we can't open 24 hours.
Well, it's 4 a.m. and then 7 a.m. it opens up.
Have you ever worked in a restaurant?
No.
I
Okay.
did.
Usually what that time frame is another shift of individuals that come in and work. Usually you have a porter that comes in and cleans between that time, and then the open time is a new shift of people, am I correct?
Yeah, we actually have 2 cleaning companies.
Yes, so
and
it's
a
3
porter.
hours that they're cleaning.
But there's no service, so there's no one that's going to be there to service.
Yeah.
So you're shut down, sort of like when a store does inventory. So it's shut down for
For
those
3
hours,
hours, yeah.
and they're actually doing work in there. There is no serving of anything, there's
Yeah.
nothing else going on. Former cocktail waitress.
But garbage being taken out, all this kind of stuff being.
That's usually done constantly and put outside, but yeah, deep cleaning is done within those hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a consent, okay, here's the thing, I would probably say this, again, going back to, I think consistently we've been around that 2, I mean, I understand definitely what the business model looks like. We've been pretty consistent about that 2 a.m. timeframe for most of the people who have come by. I think at the very least, we can, I wanna make sure we do that, and as we're considering policy in the district, it's something we might be able to reconsider, perhaps when you do your renewal. But I think for the committee, am I hearing 2 a.m. as a consensus for that?
2 a.m.
Okay, for the rest of the stuff, I think that, I wanna thank 87, because I think they've been making efforts to try and comply with what we're saying.
Yeah.
So I don't wanna necessarily say, well, listen, you're a bad actor here and everything like that, because it's like, they're trying to work with us here, so. My strong suggestion is, I think we can let, we have the stipulation for the 2 a.m. I think we're good for those times, and listen, when they come back, they'll either show approve, or they show that, our faith was misplaced. But otherwise, we have the mechanisms between the room complaints and everything to make sure, but I don't believe that's the case. If we are okay with that, I think we can entertain a motion to, forward this to the executive committee and to the board, with the stipulation of 2 a.m. Does that sound agreeable to the committee?
For me, yeah.
Was
The,
that-
the signatures are a very big deal to me.
And they got it.
So they got it?
2 a.m.
All right then, so who can I put down for making a motion?
Hartley.
Hartley, okay, and the second? Okay, Buck. All right, so it's been moved and seconded. All right, well, we've kind of already had a discussion. Any other questions, any other last thoughts? Okay, hearing none. We approve this, common consent?
No, I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, we have 1 abstention from okay. You're noted. Okay, hearing one, I'm sorry?
Then can we go, oh yeah, we can. Yeah, I
so then, all right, so this is gonna go, all right, so that's the recommendation currently for the committee. So you're approved to go forward with a stipulation for the committee for 2 AM. 2 AM for
I'll
the
let you
process.
know.
Okay, so next steps, will be,
Board.
board meeting is gonna be next week on the 19th. So we just ask you to come in, just very quickly, just a quick introduction.
Next Thursday?
Yeah, because of the holidays coming up, so we're just gonna
Next
do
Thursday,
it.
I'm not gonna be here.
And Fred will be confirming that it's going to be at Mega Everett's, not Mega Everett's,
Jackie
Jackie Robinson.
Yes, so we are scheduled to be
So
at
it's at the
Jackie
same
Robinson, but the office will confirm, because they'll confirm the date, the time, and the location. So we just ask that you come, just prepare 2-3 minutes just to give an introduction. The executive committee meeting is next
Where is
week,
Jackie
Tuesday, you're not required to go there. Okay? All right then, all right, so thank you very much, appreciate, we only got a few more minutes if you want to definitely stay. Okay, all right, so, just to confirm and just for the record, so we do not have an applicant for, Queen of Scots LLC this evening. And we do not have the applicant for Aggie's Cafe this evening as well. I think they're doing some other administrative things. So we will provide an update if there's any changes or.
So both of them are not here?
They're both not here. But there's some technical administrative stuff they're doing, so they will come back or not come back depending on what happens with that. We'll find out and we'll provide an update for the committee. All right, okay, so that completes item 7. Is there any, before we go to adjournment, is there any other items, or business or things that we need to put on the agenda for next month? Okay, hearing none. Everyone, I just want to thank everyone. I just realized this is the last, Public Safety Committee meeting for the 2024. I want to thank everyone for your service. I wish everyone a very happy and healthy and safe holiday season. I want to thank all our guests for coming this evening. Officer, Sergeant, just looking forward to you coming back again.
Correct.
You're more than welcome, and we'll look for the data as well. Share on this one.
Perfect.
Okay, and with that, we are adjourned as we've completed our agenda. Please note the time is 8:50, I'm sorry, 7:50.
7:54.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening.
You were-